Is this chat laid out right? Hold on. Yeah, okay. Seems fine. I'm gonna move this down actually a bit. Whee. Okay. Alrighty. I think we're good to go here. See kind of peeps we get around here, but alright, so this is the Binding of Isaac 4 Souls card sleeving and just general discussion stream. So you got the little figures strewn about here. I can't really see Lost, but that kind of fits with his character, so that's fine. Move this in a bit. Nudge Kane a little bit there. So, yo Jay, hey Angel. Are you in class or are you out right now? I feel it's like around that time, so I'm not actually sure. Just in the background we just have a playlist of of all of the. Oh jeez, what did I do? Hold on. Oh dear. Sorry, just a second. We have a playlist of all of the music from the Binding of Isaac games, Rebirth, the original, as well as Anti-Birth is in here as well. So, question, hope you staying. Or constant form to go. Oh, okay, I gotcha. No problem at all, man. Appreciate you for stopping by. Out of class? Okay, I see. So let's just go ahead and bust this bad boy open here. So yeah, I just have it on shuffle, so it's just gonna play any random songs. If there's like a particularly not interesting one, we'll probably just like skip it, but line this up nicely. There we go. Okay, so we got a bunch of this stuff in here. I'm not gonna worry too much about it. We've already done the unboxing video, so I don't need to show too much of this stuff off really. Actually, we could just, what am I doing? I could just I could take this whole compartment out. Whee! This over here. Actually, I'll put this over here. There we go. Okay. So, this is going to be definitely a shorter stream. At the very longest, 3 hours. I kind of doubt it's going to be that long. But just a short little stream for anyone who's around who wants to talk about the game or anything. Going to be keeping it particularly chill this time, so don't worry. I'm just going to put this over here. Actually. Do this very clever move where we actually put the box back on itself, if you can imagine that. I don't think I need the mouse anymore, so we can move this out of the way. Definitely out of the way. Okay. Where's the alpha from my own chat? It ain't a stream without me falling asleep in the middle of it. Yes, I said y'all. Look, once in a while, everyone's got to say y'all every once in a while. You know, it's understandable. Okay, so I think we're gonna do the special ones here first off. Okay. I haven't double checked if these sleeves actually fit. If they don't, this is going to be a very short stream. But let's go ahead and get this figured out here. I have 500 sleeves here, and then I have an extra pack. I wasn't sure how big he was planning on making the expansion, because he said he was planning on working on one, and sure enough, he is actually working on one right now. So, I made sure that I got plenty of extra sleeves. Okay, bye my babies. Alright, see you around, Angel, man. Good seeing you. Good luck with your concert, man. Good luck, my darlings. Yeah, appreciate you for stopping by, man. Good luck, me bucko. Okay. Whee. These are quite thin sleeves, which is fine. I got thinner ones. I figure, and some people like double sleeving, and so this should leave me open to the option of double sleeving because these are like very thin. Okay, so let's start. Let's just start with the soul cards, just because these are. It's like 3 of them. Thanks. Good luck with whatever you're doing. Thanks. Handsome face. Thank you. Appreciate the kind words. Yeah, I don't think I'll need much luck for this, but appreciate it nonetheless. So here are the soul cards. These are just basically extra souls you can add to the game for when your group is a little bit more comfortable with the game, I guess. Soul of Guppy, first player to control 2 or more souls. Soul of Gluttony, first to have 10 or more loot cards in their hand, and Soul of Greed for having 25 cents or more. Let's go ahead and pop these bad boys in here. All right, cool, perfect fit. And he did say that the cards were standard card size, so I assumed that these would probably work fine, and they do. See, absolutely perfect fit. No excess on the bottom. I wouldn't mind a little bit of excess on the top, but that's fine. So sleeves are this pile's upside down. Hold on. A little bit of clever magic here. Alright. Back to the music. Oh, it's just one of those songs that doesn't have that much. Okay, maybe I will keep the mouse handy over here. So, yeah, I kind of want to be able to skip some. Just so you guys know, I literally got Spotify Premium for this stream, so I hope you guys appreciate it. I really did. I'm not even kidding. I mean, it was like 3 months for 99 cents, so it's not like it was a big investment. But still, I literally got Spotify Premium because I started thinking about it, and I was like, huh, I want to do this on Spotify just because all the songs are there. But then I realized it'd be interrupted with ads, and that would be just something I really didn't want to have to listen to. So, I just picked a Premium. Okay. So to think about how I want to actually... I think I'm just going to keep them organized by card type for now. So, what do I put? Completed stacks. I think I'm going to move this. Now that we have this whole thing here, I'm going to do a little bit of shifting around of the figures, I think. I'm going to put these guys up here. There we go. Just want to keep the logo visible mostly. And we got the Lost here. He's actually fine over here. Okay. And then I can put our completed stacks over here. Yes, we got the soul cards. I'm just gonna move the instructions to right here, I guess. Just put it in the Switch dock. Okay. Next, we'll go ahead and do the character cards here. These I don't really need to go over these because they're pretty much all the same except for the Lost, and the Lost is in the expansion pile, which is this one, I believe. This deck of cards actually the entire gold box expansion. You can see, I don't know if you can tell, but the color of the size is actually different. That's because it has a bunch of different types of cards in there. We can just kind of the artwork on these. So this is every single card that came with the base game, but that also included a lot of the Kickstarter exclusives. Also, thank you, Nadia Fack for the follow. Really appreciate that. Good to see ya. So you can see the art on these is incredibly well done. I'm gonna do this so it's a little bit easier. Just kind of showing them all off. All their stats are the same. The only thing that changes is the item that they start with. I really like Forgotten, actually. He's very cool. Eden, and that's all. Actually, every single character, if you got it through Kickstarter with the Kickstarter exclusives and the gold box expansion, all that, actually every single character in the game is playable, which basically means that the expansion he's working on now, it has to include new character, like brand new characters. I think there's going to be 4 new characters. One of them, he said, he's already confirmed is Bumbo, so that's kind of exciting. So we'll be getting a Bumbo playable character in the first standalone, I guess, expansion. Probably that's going to be the only expansion we're going to get, but we'll see. I mean, if it's popular enough, I think it's possible that that Edmund might work on another one. I definitely would not expect more than 2. I mean, there's only so much he can do. He already has to. He's probably. I don't actually know how many items are in this game versus how many items are in the main game. But it's very possible that he might already have to start coming up with some new item designs, which he's already done a couple of, I think, for this game. Wow. Yeah, this is very, very satisfying to finally be holding this game in my hands. I can't lie about that. This is super nice. Okay. So the only character out of these, oh, that card's got a little bit of a very slight bit taken out of the bottom of this card. Put that corner in first. The only character out of all of these, I believe that's kind of unique is Eden here, which is at the bottom of the pile. So came just in time to show off. They actually don't. As with Eden in the games. You look at the top 3 cards, so she doesn't start with a fixed starting item. You can look at the top 3 cards of the treasure deck, and you choose one to become your item, and it gains Eternal. Eternal is basically the key word for items that cannot be taken off your person, so they're exclusive to your starting items, I believe. I don't think there's anything that can modify, that can, like, give Eternal, or anything that can remove Eternal. I think Eternal is just, like, you will not lose this card for the entire course of the game. Even if you die, you will always have that card. And speaking of which, the next pile here are the Eternal cards, at least from the base set. So these are the Eternal cards for all of the main characters, all the playable characters that we just opened up. You can see, got the D6. Plus play to reroll any dice roll. Sleight of hand, look at the top 3 cards of any deck, which is pretty cool. I'm not going to go ahead and read all these off, but I do kind of like to show off the artwork on these cards in particular, because they're very nice. I'm probably not gonna go through this process for every single card, unless there's particular. How do I? There we go. I always, the fact that this is mirrored always messes me up. Or the fact that it's not mirrored actually is the problem. I don't know who starts with this. That blue baby, I think. It doesn't actually say on the card. It says on the other ones here. Okay. This Lazarus is actually the only one that starts with a passive Eternal item. When he dies, he gains a treasure, so dying early on is actually beneficial for him. And then you got the bone, which is pretty complex for the Forgotten, and it can end up giving him a soul, which is pretty cool. Whoops. Whoops. There we go. Okay. Continue on here. What song is this? Is this, yeah, this is Moon Death. Okay, so this is Annie Birth's song. Isaac Fight, okay. There's actually, I haven't heard necessarily all of the songs from Annie Birth, but I know the OST for Annie Birth is very good. You guys who are around for my my Isaac streaming days, you guys might remember that I'd start every single stream with was it Memento Mori? I think it is from it's the witness fight theme is the final boss in that the final boss for that mod. So it just makes me. Sometimes I just remember that the fact that we're actually getting Anti-Birth as an official add-on to the game, it just blows my mind. The music is going to be redone by Ridiculon, but I'm pretty confident in Ridiculon's ability to make good music, so I'm not too concerned. I'm not too worried about it. Packing all these will take some time. Yeah, it'll take a bit of time. It's not going to be too bad. And once I get into it, once we like start hammering away at the bigger piles, I don't think it'll be too bad. We'll see. About 15 minutes in, and we're still we're about through all of the stuff that aren't like the main piles of cards. So I think I should be able to do it this stream. Okay, so there's that. There's the Eternal items. I think I'm actually next. I'm going to open up this one because this one has character cards and Eternal items in it as well. So this is, like I said, this is the entire first expansion. I'm pretty sure that expansion is Kickstarter exclusive. So this is one that if you didn't get it during the Kickstarter, you will not have this expansion ever. Well, unless you buy it off of eBay or something for an exuberant price. Very carefully here. Okay, that's fine. A little bit of elbow grease, but I'm making sure I'm cutting away from the cards. Alright, there we go. Kinda got a foothold in it at least. Okay. I'm actually gonna keep these little the 3 smaller packs here actually came in resealable packs, and I think that's actually a very convenient way to organize these. I think I'm gonna want to get see if I can get dividers for this as well, so I can keep all the different decks separate easier. Okay, so there's that. See the expansion. You got your item cards here. It's over here. Got your monster cards. Got your item cards, or your loot cards, I mean, sorry. And here we go. There's what, 4 characters? Yep, 4 characters, 4 Eternal items. So for the characters, we got the Lost, the only character that has different stats. He has 1 health, as you would expect him to have, right? 1 health is the difference? Yeah. He only has 1 health, but he starts with Holy Mantle. So if a player would die, any player would die, you can prevent their death and end that player's turn. So basically, he has, like he has in the games, where he can just prevent his own death once per turn cycle. You got the Keeper, you got Azazel, and you got Apollyon. And with that, you have every single character in the game. So, assuming at least that he sticks with the four characters per expansion scheme. I'm really curious what kinds of other characters we might get. Since there's Soul of Guppy, which is kind of like the Guppy transformation, I don't think I mean, there could still be a Guppy character, but I'm not sure. Like I said, we know there's Bumbo, so he's probably gonna have to dig for some other source materials for characters. He could do Dark Judas. I could see that as being possible, considering that Dark Judas even has his own figure. That seems plausible, honestly. So I think we're gonna see some less conventional characters for the last set of the last DLC. DLC. It's technically it's not. I mean, it's not DLC, but because it's not downloadable. Okay, so also we have Holy Mantle for starting items, Wooden Nickel, Lord of the Pit, and the Void. Pretty much all we'd expect, roughly. Azazel actually doesn't have anything related to his laser by default, but he has his flight, which is kind of, I would argue, his more definitive characteristic, because you could tell that he has flight just by looking at him. Alright. So there's those all done. These on the pile. Of course, there's one less eternal item than characters, because Eden exists. Okay. So, I suppose now we can just do these, since these are already unpacked, we'll just go ahead and do these other cards here from that set. Here, hold on, let me move these around a little bit. Okay, there we go. And we'll just put the other three up here, I think. So just briefly going over it. Monster cards, health. They have this number, which is what you need to roll to be able to damage them. This is how much damage they do if you fail this roll. So, for example, if you rolled a 2, this Ragling would then do 1 damage to you. If you roll a 3 or above, you do your attack damage to him, which by default is 1. They have usually little bits of text. The bottom is what you get when you kill them. Let's see, there should be some boss cards in here. Yeah. Which also, for boss cards down here, you get souls for beating them. Souls are how you win the game. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Art is, of course, very nice on these. I'm not gonna show every single one of them in explicit detail unless I find some pretty cool ones. But I know this set in particular has some really cool bosses, like Steven. See, he's got some unique background on his. You got the Hush, pretty iconic boss there. Cage is just very big. I don't think he actually has any special effects. No, he actually just has a lot of health. So many cards. Yeah, there's a lot of cards. I think there's what, 408 cards, I think, total, if I'm not mistaken. So yes, lots of cards. You get a lot of bang for your buck from this campaign, needless to say. Alright, so we're just gonna go ahead and monster cards there. Sure, it doesn't matter too much. The 3 stacks of monster, treasure, and loot cards are actually pretty even. I was not expecting that. There's roughly the same amount of all 3 of those types of cards. Roughly, at least. Most of the... I'm sure I don't double up on any cards or anything, but the cards are pretty thick, so I think it'd be pretty easy to tell if I accidentally grabbed 2. As far as I could tell, I'm pretty sure all of the bosses are taken directly from the game. All of the enemies, I think, are, but some of the enemies have interesting variants that aren't necessarily in the main game. I guess I'll see as I go along. You guys can also see every single card that I'm sleeving. Oop. So if there's any that catch your eye, certainly feel free. I think I'm actually going to separate the bosses and regular enemies as well, just cause in the main game you do actually want them mixed up. But at the same time, I also haven't even mixed them yet, and I don't plan on mixing them until I actually play the game. Well, actually, nah, I'm not gonna, because also there's things in the monster deck that aren't monsters, like Trapdoor, which are just random happenings, basically, just like random events. So I don't really want to split it into that many different piles. So we'll just keep it as is. And like I said, when you actually play the game, all of this stuff does get shuffled up. All of the cards with the same backs get shuffled. Yeah. Curse of Tiny Hands. Yeah, there are some new curses, certainly. I can guarantee Curse of Tiny Hands was certainly not in the game. Yeah, Okay, the curses are another random happening that you can give. You drawing them is actually beneficial, though, because you get to choose who gets it, which is pretty cool. Okay, but yeah, there's random happenings like shops appearing, devil deal, maybe. I actually don't think there's an angel deal random happening, which is kind of interesting, but I don't believe so. Okay, so here we're getting the DLC bosses. I'm gonna keep saying DLC. I just can't help it. That's the lingo I'm used to using for Isaac. Okay, the Steven card is so nice. I do also have, I think, at the end of the stream, when we're wrapping it up, I'll show it off. I have the 2 uncut sheets of monster cards framed. It's so nice. It just makes me happy to look at. Isaac has game cards. Yes, there was a Kickstarter earlier this year. I want to say like summer-ish. There's a bunch of exclusive stuff that you won't be able to get, unfortunately. But the base game, at least, the base game has lots and lots of cards. So you're not missing out. I mean, you're missing out on an expansion, but there is also going to be another expansion there's an expansion that he's working on, and the base game has a lot of stuff in it. So I think he said he's actually going to be opening up pre-orders for that again pretty soon. So if you are interested in that, I highly recommend you check out Edmund McMillan's Twitter. He usually posts updates on stuff like that, so I definitely recommend you check him out there so you can keep up to date on that. I would highly recommend it. You can just tell just by looking at it. Everything is very high quality. The cards are, very, very good quality cards. This is actually even, is this 2 cards? This feels like 2 cards. Yes, it is 2 cards, actually. Whoops. There we go. So fresh, they're still kind of stuck together. It is a board game now? Yeah. Okay, so these are the treasure cards. These go in their own pile. Basically, when you beat a boss or an enemy, sometimes it'll say +1 treasure, like this one says. And then that just means you draw from the treasure deck. And they are just permanent items. Gray ones mean they are passives. And gold ones mean they are active items. This one requires, what is it? When the $sign here, that means you have to pay something to activate it. So this one is discard a loot card, and then you activate it. Other ones you just activate, like this one that has a little counter icon. That just means you just activate it. I think you can activate these during anyone's turn as well. So there's a lot of really interesting mechanics going on in this game. There's a lot of factors to, like, it's an easy game to pick up, but there is a lot of depth to the strategy if you're able to really wrap your head around it. And some of the cards in particular are there's just a lot to them, really. Okay, oops. So you guys can see. I'm keeping my eyes open for any new. I know there's at least some new items that aren't in the base, that aren't in the actual games. Okay, how many sleeves have we gone through? We haven't even gone through that many sleeves yet. Okay. Digging this music too. Some of the songs from the original Isaac I have not heard in such a long time. All right, here's a Rebirth one, the library theme here. Alrighty, but yeah, how's everyone here doing tonight? Really appreciate all you guys for coming out here for this bit of a bonus stream, kind of a weird stream for me. Weird hours, and definitely not something that not the type of content I'm usually known for. But appreciate you guys for coming out here nonetheless. We'll be going for, at the very most, about until like another hour, 2.5 hours. But I mean, if we finish sleeving sooner, we'll probably end it off sooner. So it's going to be a very short stream. So low commitment one here. And tomorrow, I still can't confirm when I'm going to be streaming, when or if I'm going to be streaming tomorrow. Not really sure. If I end up getting home before like 10-ish, then I probably will still stream. Might stream something with Sacred, might do a bit of World of Light. I'm not really sure yet. Also, here's the I can't believe it's not Butterbean. You can see, kind of had to try and cram the text in at the top. I like that. A lot of these cards have little bits of detail like that. Okay. The art on these cards is super nice, too. I think they had, they had a lot of people. Oh, also, actually, here's an example of a new card. Library card. What does this do? Play an additional loot card this turn. Pretty useful effect, too. Yeah, it's completely unique to this game. Okay. And apparently there is some degree of lore implications with this game. I'm not really sure what they are. I'm not very adept at following the Isaac lore, I'll be honest. It's a little bit above my head. Also, here's the regular butterbean as well, which is nice. Which also, the butterbean is an interesting item because it fundamentally does not do anything. When you roll a d6, 1 to 5, it does nothing. 6, recharge it. So the only thing that this does is that if you have things that proc on activating an item, and you could just keep, if you can roll 6s, you can keep, basically just use that infinitely. And basically that is incredibly situational, but it could still be handy. So that's just another example of how super situational effects can be used for some interesting strategic implementations. Okay, so we're just gonna make sure this pile is pretty straight here. I'll probably need to split these into 2 stacks as we go, because, I mean, the piles are pretty big as is, and when the sleeves are here, it's going to get bigger, and they're also going to slide around more. Okay, so we're almost through our first 100. Oh, dear. Okay. Really quick here, just a second. Gotta make sure I'm keeping up with plans here. Okay. That? Okay. Oops. Okay. Oh, whoops, I forgot we didn't do these yet. So these are loot cards. Loot cards are much more commonly drawn than not loot cards. You can see they have pretty basic effects most of the time. It includes pennies, which, you know, just gives you money. Some of them, slightly more interesting. Gain 1 cent and recharge an item. Deal 1 damage to monster player. Joker card. Look at a player's hand. You may steal a loot card from it. So there's a pretty wide range of effects you can get from these. Prevent 1 damage to enemy player with a soul heart. Double the number of coins any player has. There's a large variety of effects here. First shop item a player this turn. The first shop item a player buys this turn costs 0. There we go. Jeez, I can't read. Okay, you got pills. So you also have trinkets, which you can find. You can see here, best trinket in the game. Add +1 to the first dice roll you make each turn, so it also is quite good in this game. So there you go. Okay. So we'll start sleeving these bad boys up. Is this? I think this is the. Sounds like one of the boss themes from the original game. I'm gonna move these over a bit, actually, so that they're a little bit easier for me to access, because I have to like reach under the pop filter over here. Right, like I said, there's some pretty generic ones, although even stuff like the pennies. Let me see here. It's like pretty minor differences, but even stuff like the pennies that, like, they're the same, but the art is very slightly different, you're probably not going to be able to make it out, but the sparkles on it are a little bit different. So every single card in this deck is actually unique, even the ones where the effect is identical to another card, which is really only the case in the loot cards. The artwork is still very slightly different, and there's just so much detail that went into this game. Okay. This is quite relaxing, actually. I'm quite enjoying this this very repetitive process. I've never been one to shy away from very repetitive things in general. It'd be like grinding in games, or just like organizing or sorting things. It's actually was something I found quite therapeutic at times. Just kind of turn your brain off, basically, which is nice because I'm pretty much thinking 24/7 when I'm not doing like just mindless things. Right. And I think stuff like the pennies, there are also a lot of in this deck, but I guess they added a few more of them in the expansion as well, just to kind of keep the balance, as well as adding some other things. What does the Holy Card do? Replay a wood die, prevent... Okay, so Holy Card is exactly what it does in the game, where it's basically a one-time use Holy Mantle effect. And basically the loot cards, I think you can play one of them per turn, like when it's your turn, you can play one loot card. And each hero actually has the ability that you might have seen to play an additional loot card this turn. So basically that means, you know, basically you could use 2 loot cards on your turn. But what I think is more useful is the fact that that means you can use a loot card during someone else's turn. Which is, as you can imagine, is a much more interesting effect. For example, if, I don't know if you can use them, like, when an enemy is mid-combat, but if so, you could potentially use a bomb while they're, like, attacking a monster or something to either kill them or kill the monster. So there's a lot of interesting things that you can do. That being said, I'm not 100% sure some of the, like, the details of how interacting during other players' turns actually works. There might be some undesirable things that you just can't do. Also, there are pills in this game, as you might have seen. They typically have 3 related status effects to this one. Recharge all of your items, +1 to your dice rolls, or -2 to your dice rolls. So there's usually a 1 really good effect, 1 pretty good effect, and then 1 decently bad effect. This one, the bad effect, is actually quite bad. -2 to your dice rolls is kind of terrible. If you fight something that needs 5 or 6, you just can't hit it at all. Without some sort of outside influence. Okay. Okay, so about the halfway mark, and we are through a little less than 100 cards, so I'm pretty sure we're gonna be fine. We should finish well within our 3-hour little time slot here. Okay. So is that done? Okay. I suppose we'll move on to the loot cards here. Probably one of the 3 stacks really are about even, actually. See there, they're pretty much identical. But either way, we'll take care of the loot cards next. They're they're definitely the least interesting of the 3 piles. I'm gonna just be as careful as I can with this. How does the game look like, though? I mean, you're pretty much looking at it. The game, it's a card game. It's not like a board game necessarily. There's no board or anything. The game does entirely consist of cards. There's a game mat that came with it if you got one of the higher tiers. But it's absolutely massive, and it'd be very hard to actually show it. I really hope for a board game. It came with a game mat, which is pretty nice. It helps you organize it, but it is entirely built around the cards. And, you know, that being said, it also, if you got the figures, you could play it kind of like a board game, but it isn't strictly a board game. You can play it with the mat. You can use the figures to break, because you do need to keep track of your health. So on the mat, there's like little health icons, and you can use the figures to keep track of those. So there's a little bit of a board aspect to it, if you want to keep track of it that way. But yeah, it's the entirety of the game consists of all of these cards here, as well as the pennies that are in this bag, which I'll go ahead and open, because the pennies are actually quite nice as well. Come on. Also, the bag you get with it by itself is quite nice. Whoops. So you have these little custom plastic pennies. You also get little D6 inspired dice, and there's a D8 as well for keeping track of monster health, I believe. Boop. Okay. What is this? Oh, this is the Anti-Birth title screen music. This is a good one. Okay, so you see, there's a lot of loot cards here. What are these, actually? Oh, right, they also have the... let's see. Yeah, they have all of the tarot cards, as you can see. I think they have all of them. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. So they got all the tarot cards, and yeah, just a bunch of trinkets. Lost. Oh, I forgot about that. It's actually a soul card just in the loot deck. So you literally draw this and you just get a soul. It seems kind of insane, but also the deck is huge. So just like in the game, there's quite an aspect of RNG involved in this game. But additionally, since it's a card game, you can always just, like, if you don't want to play with the Lost Soul, just take it out. It's just that easy. You can balance the game however much you want. Custom rule sets or house rules or anything like that. It's really up to how you want to play. Okay, a little more space here. Okay. So here a little bit more obvious the difference between the some of the penny cards. There's a little fly there, and the fly is located in different spots on each of the cards. Like, it's not, like I said, it's not like a huge visual difference, but it is still certainly a difference. So every single card is a little bit different from each other, even in the loot deck. Okay, just about empty on this stack of sleeves here. And from doing this, we'll figure out also exactly how many cards there are. I think I read 408. That sounds like a number that I've seen Edmund post about before. So I'm inclined to believe that it's that. Okay, so there's our first 100. Okay. Pack number 2 here. These bad boys wrapped up tight. Oh, sorry. It's probably kind of loud. Sorry about that. Okay, where's the top on these, I think? Yep, did it upside down again. Here's a good jam right here. It's the Isaac theme, right? Yeah. Infanticide. Alright. Here's 101 and beyond here. I'm almost certainly going to need to break up the bigger piles into a few stacks, just to avoid them like falling over and creating a huge mess. Okay. And this is the song that is featured in my my subscription notification. Actually, if any of you guys want to hear it a little bit extra, that's always an option. Of course. Well, I'm not kidding about the fact that I use it in my subscription notification. But anyway. We're actually dropping a few frames right now. Make sure nothing's downloading in the background. Okay, looks like it's recovering. Ish, no? Actually, I could play... Hold on. I can actually go into offline mode since I have premium. Right? Yep, okay. So let's go back to where we were. Just go there, okay. Yeah, I don't know if it's a problem. I don't know if it's Spotify, but certainly Spotify. I would imagine you can use a fair bit of bandwidth. So there's no. I have premiums now, so no reason not to just go in offline mode. Okay. I don't think so, right? Does I still get access to? No, I actually don't get access to all the songs. Okay. We're just gonna go back online. I don't actually know how it works. I literally just got premium before the stream started. Alright, well, if I start dropping frames again, then I'll probably know the cause, but I think it was probably just a slight fluke. It wasn't that many in the grand scheme of things, anyway. Yeah, this pile's already getting a little bit, I think it's leaning to one side, but I'm not sure why it would be. This should be completely even on both sides. I like this part quite a bit personally. Yeah, the problem is that these are so slippery that the cards are just going to start sliding around on this pile if I'm not careful. So as you can tell by the fact that I've been sleeving these penny cards for a while, there's a lot of... Most of the loot deck is just menial, just gain some money effects. So actually it keeps going. There's some 3 cents, 4 cents, some nickels. I think there's 1 dime. Yep, there's the dime. 2 exclamation points. Some pills. It's a lot of just a lot of mostly minor effects. Okay. Oops. I should probably turn the music up a bit here. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I heard most people preferred to get... Oops, I missed a chat. Okay. Preferred, I think dragon sleeves to sleeve their cards. These seem fine. I don't really know the difference, to be honest. I just kind of picked some sleeves at the time that were reasonably priced to buy in bulk. And just kind of went with it. They seem fine. I don't plan on... Actually, and I kind of doubt I'm going to end up playing this game a whole lot. You know, every once in a while I'm sure I'll get some friends over and they'll be interested in playing it. But for the most part... So I think for small amounts of wear and tear, I think it should be... Small amounts of usage, I think these sleeves should be fine. But that being said, I am very, very protective of these cards, so... I would not be surprised in the future if I end up doing... doubling up and getting some... Maybe some like thick dragon sleeve. I'm sure they have harder plastic ones too. And there'd probably be room in the box because there's actually this box is more than large enough to be able to fit with with them in sleeves. Fit at least 1 or 2 expansions in there. There's plenty of room in the box. You can pretty much go crazy with sleeving, and you'll be sure that you'll still have room to keep them all in the box with future expansions. Okay. Still doing pennies here. 4 cents. Then we're gonna have the nickels, and then we'll start to get to something a little bit more interesting, at least something that's able to... Something that there's something to say about, at least. Certainly. Oop, okay. This is the first time I've ever done any card sleeving, really, of any capacity. I used to collect Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Not afraid to admit that. I still have pretty much every single Yu-Gi-Oh card I ever owned. They're in a box, or they're in a drawer over on actually the other side of this monitor. Someday I maybe might do a little tour through the old Yu-Gi-Oh days. Every once in a while, also for some I just get like an urge to buy Yu-Gi-Oh packs again, or like not packs, but like the starter decks and stuff. It's just a feeling that I kind of miss, to be honest. Opening up new decks of cards and stuff like that. Even back then, I didn't really know that many people that played. But I just like the cards, honestly. It was just fun to collect. I'm definitely a collector at heart, so I'm not too surprising, all things considered. Okay, I think once we get to the dime, we're gonna switch over to a separate stack because this one's getting a little bit unruly, I think. Whoops. What song is this? Not much going on here. We're gonna skip that one. Here's the Cellar theme from Anti-Birth. Cool. For a while, I was thinking of continuing on with my Isaac streaming by actually streaming Anti-Birth. Didn't end up happening, and in hindsight, I think I prefer that I ended up not streaming it, since it's being added as a DLC. So now I'm gonna get to fully experience all of the Anti-Birth stuff for the first time, like in the official DLC for the game. So I think I like that a bit better. That being said, I think people who did already play Anti-Birth, I suspect that that you will not be disappointed. I'm sure they're going to switch up a lot of things to like in their effort to integrate it into the main game. I think they're going to they're definitely going to switch it up. Also, I only just remembered that there's actually multiple butter beans, as you can see here. There's actually 3 different butter beans in the base game. Cancel the effect of any active item or loot card being played. So actually pretty good, to be honest. And you can see, same with these. There's 3 of them, but the art on them is all. It's actually decently different this time. I mean, the pennies is just like different location for the fly. But the butterbeans are a bit different, and the pills, of course, are going to be completely different designs, and also actually do different things as well. They're all kind of themed. Like, this pill is focused on loot cards, so you can loot 1, loot 3, or discard 1 loot. This one's gain 4, gain 7, or lose 4. So they're all. I think it's some early on. Actually, he had pills that did pretty much just like random effects. They didn't have any cohesion. But I think I like the new format of pill a little bit better. Just more thematically interesting, I think. So here we have some bombs. The difference with the bomb art, as you might be able to tell as I'm putting them down, is that the fuse gets shorter and shorter in the art. I mean, they all still do the same thing, deal 1 damage to a monster or player, but you know. Also got gold bomb coming up here. 3 damage to a monster player. It doesn't do the infinite bomb effect, but it does give you a triple bombs. That's a 3 damage is pretty big deal. 3 damage is going to be enough to kill most players for a while. Because even if they find like a health up or something, it's also going to be enough to kill most basic enemies as well. So the gold bomb's actually pretty significant. And we have the batteries. I actually don't remember what the difference in the art with the batteries is, so I'm actually going to lay these out a bit so we can check that out. There you go. So what actually is the difference on these? Let's see. It's probably the patterns of the sparks. Yeah. Looks like it. Yeah, might be a little bit hard to make out, but yeah, it is actually. Not that they're in the sleeves at least, but you can kind of tell the patterns on the sparks up here are a little different. Okay, the mega battery. It's a new pickup. I don't think there's anything like that in the full game. Sorry, hold on. Choose a player to recharge all of their items. That's quite a big effect if they have even just like 2 or 3 items. That's like a full combo reset. There's a couple dice shards, as you can see. It's a little bit the little like plastic pieces on that are broken off are different. So that forces a player to re-roll any of their dice rolls. So that's a particularly useful one to use on their turn. So they like do a dice roll and they get a good result. You use your hero or you use your character card. You use a dice shard and then they have to re-roll it and they might just get some crappy outcome. So here we have soul hearts. I'm not sure what the difference is between these guys either. Actually, let me before I sleeve those. Okay, so I think the one on the right here for you guys has no sparkle, and the one on the left does. Or wait, no. So this one, okay. So right for you guys does have a sparkle. Well, it's still hard to tell that, especially since the coloring, but it's there. That one's hard to tell, especially because it's like white on a like white part of the heart on a white background. A little bit tricky to see that one. Basically, the point is that this game is very well done, and there's a lot of detail. Okay, so we got a couple of the runes here. They all have pretty big effects. This one you roll, and all 6 of the outcomes are like effects on everyone. So everyone gains 1, loots 2, takes 3 damage, which basically, if you get this early on and roll a 3, everyone just dies. Gain 4, loot 5, gain 6. So pretty much all the effects are good for everyone except the one, obviously, where everyone takes damage. This one you can destroy a curse or prevent 1 damage. And this one you can discard all active monsters not being attacked and replace them with... So you just swap out all active monsters with new ones. So lots of interesting stuff. Here we're getting to the trinkets, which I think all the trinkets are actual trinkets in the game, but I might be wrong on that. There actually very well could be a new trinket or two in here that I've forgotten about. Counterfeit Penny has a cool new design. Yeah. Got Kane's eye here. Look, little buddy, we found your we found your other eye. Okay. So we're almost-ish through the loot card stack here. We are approaching the hour mark. Okay. Purple heart. Dark room music. Not one of my more favorites, but it's more of an ambient track, to be honest. Guppy's hairball is considered a trinket in this game, which I find... Or actually, no. Yeah, it is a trinket. So that's a bit of a change. The hairball is now a trinket. Basically, you have a 1 in 6 chance to prevent 1 damage whenever you take damage, which is pretty useful. Pretty useful effect, especially for a trinket. Here's the Lost Soul. And then we have the 21 tarot cards, and then we're actually done with the loot deck. I really like how the tarot cards actually have a unique background. They have like the brown, a little bit easier to tell you. They have the brown wood flooring instead of the like whitish, bluish flooring that the other ones have. Makes them feel a little bit different. Okay, I also kind of like how the fact that it's a card that contains basically that card. So this is a card that contains the Empress card. Interesting way of formatting it. What is this one? Another anti-birth song. What is this? Boss beaten. Okay, so this is just like the kind of quietish. This one is kind of quiet too. Here we go. All right. Yeah, those are just kind of like really quiet ambient tracks that that play sometimes. We'll probably be skipping those, just so we can hear some of the more traditional Isaac listenings. Ooh. Alright, so we've got to be close to halfway through card sleeving. I mean, I guess we haven't gone through 200 cards yet, but we're getting pretty close, I think. Pretty close to the halfway point, considering we did all of these as well as the entire loot deck. Well, almost the whole loot deck. Getting a bit ahead of myself. Right. Oops, keep deselecting chat. Oops. Dropped a card. How could I? I wonder where Ryu's at anyway. Just kind of hoping Ryu is going to be able to make it to this one. Oh well. What can you do? People always got stuff going on, so it's probably you know, with family or doing some sort of wild and crazy computer build or something along those lines, I'm sure. The world card here, I actually have a sticker from it when I ordered the I think I got it when I ordered the signed posters that I got. I actually have a sticker of the design on this card way back when. Okay, so that's all the loot cards. Go. Keep everything straight here. There we are. Okay, let's just go on out of here. Let's move on to the treasure cards next, I suppose. Definitely say the monster cards are the most interesting, because that's where you get to see a lot of the really iconic enemies, and the art on the monsters, I think, is definitely the best of the sets of cards. particularly for the bosses. I don't know if I specified bosses or not, but definitely the bosses have the nicest stuff. Go. A lot of treasure cards. No more duplicates from here on out. Every single card's unique. Even in the monster deck, I'm pretty sure, where he could have actually feasibly put, you know, some multiples of a lot of the most common enemies, but he chose not to, just because there's so many different enemies in the game. He just didn't feel a need to. All right. Guppy's collar starting us off here. Of course, related to the Guppy transformation. I like the wording on it. So so basically 50% chance you prevent death if you roll this whenever you die, and then 4 to 6. If you roll a 4 to 6, you die with a sad face. Pretty nice. Let's go here until the pile gets to be about the size of the other one. We got Guppy's paw. Actually, we're unlocking the Guppy pieces as we went along in the campaign. Actually, wait, no. Normally, hold on. Alright. Let's reverse this. I kind of want to keep them in the relative order that they were in here. Hold on. I normally have these flipped over because it's easier to sleeve them that way. Alright. Let's try that one again. It really doesn't matter. I'm just doing it just to keep it consistent with what I've done before. Dad's Lost Coin. I believe this is actually a new item. So we're actually starting off pretty much immediately with a new item. When anyone rolls a 1, you may force that player to re-roll it. Some cards, 1s are good. Some cards, 1s are bad. So this is actually kind of interesting effect that you wouldn't think that you'd want to let someone re-roll a 1, but sometimes you actually want to get 1s depending on what the card effect actually is. And he did that to avoid, because there's cards that let you force certain rolls. So for example, there's an effect that lets you force, I believe, for all of your rolls to become a 6. I think it's like Sacred Heart or Godhead or one of those like huge impact items from the main game. And basically he didn't want those cards to be too overpowered, so he made, obviously with the monsters you pretty much always want high numbers, but with some of the items you actually want low rolls, as well as some of the because you'll actually remember the pills. I don't know if there's any that I will be able to find here quickly, but I think they're pretty close to the bottom of this pile. Yeah, here we go. The pills, you see, low rolls are actually good. Mid rolls are actually the best ones. So it's very interesting how he had to try and balance some of these things to avoid certain items being too hopelessly overpowered. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of the dealio with that. That spider mod coming up, it looks really cool. Specifically when you roll 5. So the first few items here are related to when players roll specific numbers. The Eye of Greed has a little eyebrow. I always like that. Mom's Razor. Okay. Cheese Grater, there's another new item. 9 rolls a 6, reveal the top card of any deck to all players. You may discard it or put it back on top. So that just kind of gives you a little bit of control over over what's going to be drawn or played coming up. Always pretty fun effects. Okay. There's a few of these types of items, just +1 health. I think they're all located right here, yeah. Pretty much all the classics. You got dinner, you got breakfast, probably dessert. Oh, maybe not, actually, okay. Yeah, there's actually not that many just basic +1 health, unlike in the main game. There's actually a fair amount of them. You see meat here actually does not give you health anymore either. It just gives you +1 to attack rolls, which is, of course, very nice. But doesn't do everything that it did in the main games. Again, just for balancing's sake. Most items really only ever do one specific thing, so he decided not to have stacked effects like that. Here, of course, we have the classic Brimstone, which is just +1 to your damage, and whenever you deal damage to a monster, you deal 1 damage to another player. So you could really make some enemies with this card. A little bit, let's see, is that... Also, so you have to do damage to a player whenever you use this card. Or whenever you do damage to a monster. That recreates like the piercing effect that the brimstone laser has. So that's quite interesting. Okay. Is this one? The shoal? Okay. Shoal from Anti-Birth, that is. Oh. What's Champion's Belt do again? +1 for the first attack roll of your turn, and you can attack one. So you can attack multiple monsters in a turn with this. Multiple as in, I think always 2, but still. Oop. There we go. Sleeve was a little stuck. But the Dry Baby looks so cute here. Look at that. Look at this guy. Also very good effect. Damage done to you is reduced to 1, so you'll never be one-shot with this, basically. Unless you're the Lost, I guess, then you could still be, but yeah. Pretty cool. Goat head, also quite cute. Look at that little face. Surprisingly cute for a decapitated goat head. Blue map, got the compass, probably a regular map coming up, maybe. Yep, there it is. They're usually organized in a somewhat reasonable pattern. Okay, got the habit. Take damage for the first time each turn. You may recharge an item. Pretty good. Take damage for the first time, though, so you can't use this effect multiple times. So that avoids it from being, again, just too hopelessly overpowered, basically. There's still definitely very strong combos in this game, as you would expect. Here, actually, you'll notice interesting thing here. Suicide King actually is a treasure item. Each time you die, before you play penalties, you loot 3. So basically using this, you can just restock a bit so that you have more options for discarding when you die. And yeah, it's an item, so you actually keep this permanently, so you do this every time you die. So, returning item, but it's a little bit different. Also, this is called the Steamy Sale now for copyright reasons. Here we have the Shadow. I don't think Judas's Shadow is an item in this game, which also makes me, another thing that makes me think that he very well could be playable in the coming expansion. Shiny Rock, I think, also was a trinket in the main game. Another little difference there. Mostly just trying to keep an eye out for differences like that, because I find them interesting. How big is this pile? Okay. Got a bit to go, yeah. It's the Polaroid. If you have 0 loot cards at the end of your turn, loot 2. And, oh, actually no negative, okay. I don't know if the negative appears later on or not. I don't remember, actually. The chest. This, I think, is new. I'm pretty sure this is a new item. I don't think there's anything like this in the main game. If this item is destroyed, it becomes a soul for the player who owned it. So basically, this is a trapped soul. Presumably Isaac's soul or something, because it's a chest, and, you know, Isaac died in there and all that stuff. So quite interesting, actually. This is an item that you want to get destroyed, because that whoever controls it will instantly gain a soul. We got restock. Very simple art on that. I like it. Dark Bomb, got the Empty Vessel. What does this one do? So if you have 0 loot cards, gain +1 attack. If you have 0 money, gain +1 to all attack rolls. So basically, if you have like nothing, this is bonkers. So here we have Bumbo, which is interesting because Bumbo is becoming a playable character as well. So this actually says that even if a character is already in like a card form, they actually can still be playable. So that actually makes me think that Guppy could actually feasibly be a playable character. In the next expansion. Also, if you gain coin, you put that many counters on this, so basically you don't gain money anymore. So it's actually very thematically like in the games. With 1 coin, you get +2 to your first attack roll each turn. With +10 or with 10 coins, you gain 1 attack, and for 25 coins, you can attack an infinite number of times per turn. So that's a pretty big effect. Here we have Sacred Heart. Each time you roll a 1, you may change to a 6. Okay, so that's kind of what I was thinking earlier. So yeah, pretty strong effect there, especially mostly in combat. Yeah, still good. Curse of the Tower there. It's about as dangerous as you'd expect. This is interesting. These are actually bad items. These two. I don't think there's too many more besides these two, but they're like cursed items basically. When you die before paying penalties, give this card to another player. Yes, these are basically curses in treasure deck form, which is very interesting. Like I said, I think these are actually the only 2 like it in the entire game. Unless I'm mistaken. But I would expect that they would have been right there with the other ones, so I think that's the case. And those are right. So the already slaved guppy items at the bottom. Got Bob's Brain, of course. Deal 1 damage to an active monster, deal 1 damage to a player, or deal 1 damage to yourself. Exactly what you'd expect it to do. Absolutely classic item there. Alright. Okay, so these gold ones, like I said, these are the active items. So there's some interesting things here that I didn't note. 2 of clubs is now an active item. Double the number of loot cards a player would draw till the end of the turn. So the 2 of diamonds was a loot card, but the 2 of clubs is actually an active item. Mr. Boom's the same. Tech X is now an active item. You can activate it to put a counter on this, and then you can remove 3 counters to kill a player or monster. So that's a very strong effect. And basically, you can only use this effect like every 3 turns. But even still, the fact that you can unconditionally kill a monster is kind of bonkers. Razor Blade to deal 1 damage to any player. Kind of insane if you don't like having friends. Okay, Mini Mush lets you subtract 2 from any roll at all. Another good one to use to dick over people. Okay. Spoonbender is an active item, which is interesting. It just adds 1 to any dice roll. I guess that kind of simulates the fact that you're hitting more often. So you're hitting more often. Or yeah, so you're hitting more often, so you get to do more damage basically. Wait, I didn't even notice the fact that Lucky Foot's also an active item. What's this do? Add up to 2 to any non-attack roll. And Mini Mushes. Yes, there's quite a few items actually that transitioned into active items in this game. Of course, there's still, you know, plenty of items that were just active items already. We've got the ones that we got coming up right here. D20. Destroy any item in play and replace it with the top deck of the treasure deck. Interesting. Sackhead is now an active item. With the top card of any deck, you may put that card on the bottom of that deck. So just another thing that lets you, if you know someone's about to get a really overpowered card, you can just make them not get that overpowered card. Bum Friend, also an active item now. Loot 1, put 1 loot card from your hand on top of the loot deck. So there you can just put like a single penny on top. And, I mean, worst case scenario, you loot 1 and then you put the exact card back on, so... worst case scenario, you then know 1 card that someone is going to draw. So it's that Bum Friend is just good. Diplopia, this becomes a copy of any non-eternal passive item in play till the end of the turn. So you can actually use this to get any item temporarily for a turn, which is pretty cool. Battery is an active item. It just recharges a different item. So basically you use the charge on this to give a charge to another thing. Blanket card lets you double the effect of any loot card. So that's potentially quite nice. I wonder, does that mean... Blank card lost soul. Does that work? Does that mean you could just get 2 souls on demand? If you could manage to get both of those cards, that's pretty absurd, actually. Right, you can see no here is a active item instead of a trinket. Cancel the effect of any active item. Still thematically appropriate given the name and the art. Just a little bit different. Host hat's active. Prevent 1 damage to you. If any damage was prevented, deal 1 damage to another player. So that's pretty cool. Basically, you block damage and then you can redirect it to another player. Or block 1 damage, but yeah. Okay, Sack of Pennies is active. You use it just to gain 1 cent. Pretty standard. But also, when any player rolls a 1, you can recharge it. So it's something that you can potentially use more than once a turn. Because, I mean, by itself, 1 penny a turn is not that good. But that kind of gives a little bit of added use. Jawbone. I think Jawbone is in the game, but it's now an active item. Steal 3 cents from any player. Pretty standard, but pretty nice. It's a decently big effect. Contract from Below is an active item. I, the undersigned, do here agree to all stipulations as discussed. Signed, Isaac. Destroy 2 items you own. Steal an item from any player. Pretty sure that does not include eternal items. But I think that just kind of... It's just natural. Okay, so Godhead. Changes the result of a dice roll to a 1 or a 6. This is pretty much just always good. I don't think there's any card where 1 and 6 are both bad outcomes. So Godhead is as bonkers as you think it'd be. Modeling Clay is a new one. This becomes a copy of any non-eternal item in play. This change is permanent. So unlike the one that lets you change it basically once per turn, this becomes a permanent recreation of any item in the game. Any item in play. So if someone else has Godhead, and you get Modeling Clay, then boom, now you have Godhead. Pretty useful. The 100 just says a bunch of different stuff. Chaos is now active. Each player gives all their loot cards to the player to their left. I really like cards like that basically change depending on where everyone is sitting. It's a very meta game kind of mechanic, but I quite like it. Okay, so that means that there's actually some strategy involved in where you decide to sit when you play this game. For anyone who is aware of it, at least. Here, as you can see, the donation machine itself is now an item. Give one of your items to another player and you gain 8 coins. So, pretty cool. If you have a really shit item, you can just give it to someone, and then you get money for it. Basically like selling your item to another player, except they don't pay anything. So it's only beneficial for them, unless you give them a crappy item. Which is certainly possible. These are all pretty standard. Mom's Shovel now has the little ghost on it because it enters play deactivated, so when you get this card, it actually is unable to be used right away. And its ability lets you destroy it and then steal a soul card from another player. So that's another pretty big effect. I'm assuming this... I don't actually know if this includes boss monsters or not, because they are... I don't know if they become soul cards. I'm assuming that's the case, because otherwise you'd only be able to steal, like, these 3 or the Lost Soul. So it wouldn't be that useful, so I'm pretty sure that must do that, which also means that you could potentially steal a boss that gives 2 souls. Also, Chaos Card is now a active item. Destroy this. Destroy any monster, player, item, or soul card. You destroy any card in the game you remove from play with this card. Once, obviously. But, yeah, another very, very big effect. Okay. The fact you could destroy any soul card means you could basically just stop someone from winning the game. Also, Pandora's Box, another interesting way to gain a soul. If you roll a 6 with this, it becomes a soul, and you gain it. But, of course, you destroy this item when you roll, so you have a 1 in 6 chance of just gaining a soul when you use this. Which, those odds can potentially be boosted if you have cards that allow you to reroll dice. Or something that allows you to change dice rolls. Battery Bomb, I believe, is also new. Pay 4 cents to recharge an item. He's a pretty happy-looking fella. Really like his hairdo there. Just a massive spike. Pay to play is now a, actually, was it? No, I think pay to play was passive before. Now you pay 10 cents to steal any item from any player. It's a fun one. Gold Razor Blade, which is new. Pay 5 cents to deal 1 damage to a player or monster. Not too shabby, assuming you have money. Slot machine, pretty standard. Smelter, and then I think we're getting to the guppy cards. Yes. Dead Cat starts with 9 counters on it. Each time you take damage, remove that many counters from this and prevent that damage. And of course, it counts as a guppy item. Yeah, there's what? 4. There's 5 counting the hairball guppy items in the game. Okay, so that was what? 2. Or no, that's 3. Yes, 300 packs. Or 300. Well, I got too many sleeves, I think. Oh, no, because this is the full 600. Okay. So actually, I'm not going to need one of these today. Okay. What is this? Hold on. Is that, this is a minor... Hold on. Just notice that the smelter card has a little... Might be a little printing defect or something. Curious. Yeah, it's just got a little red splotch printed on there. That's fine. It's printed on there, so it's not like it's like an additional defect. Makes it a little bit of character, I guess. Okay, so we are now entering the... Okay, so there's more than 400 cards actually in here, no. Yeah, because this is... Or no, sorry, I can't count. I don't understand how math works. So we are now approaching our 401st card here. Oh. There we go. Sounds really loud. I move it like as far away from the mic as I can. It's still very loud. So this is that's a full 300 now. So this is now 301st and onwards. And I think these two are already sleeved. Yep. So there's all the treasure items. Last but certainly not least here, we have the monster items coming up here, or the monster cards coming up here. After I straighten up all these cards. Okay. So I'm just moving these so that I don't accidentally knock them. What is this? Okay, so this is the Shoal theme from Original Isaac. Bit of a classic here. Okay. Here we go, final pile. And the home stretch here, boys. Appreciate any of you guys for bearing with me here. I see this is certainly not one of my more popular streams, but figured I'd do it. A little bit of extra. I mean, if I didn't stream it, I'd just be sitting here doing pretty much the same thing, just quietly to myself. And yeah, I figured I might as well. We'll be back to regularly scheduled content either tomorrow or Monday. Oh, also forgot to mention my Monday stream is definitely going to be a little bit later because I have a review session for one of my finals on Monday. But yeah, so it's just going to be a bit later is all. So Delirium, last card in the deck. That was one that we unlocked very late in the campaign. Okay. Last pile. This is definitely going to take us over our 400 limit, I'm thinking, though. Or over our 400 count. Okay, so I already... let's do that. I already kind of explained the whole monster card thing, so I'm not going to go into too much about a lot of these guys for now. Especially a lot of the early monsters are they're pretty much just textless. They just have little lore factors and stats, basically. LOL. Glad you're still around, at least, Fabrizio. Got someone at least. I was really expecting Ryu to be here, so that was my mistake. Honestly, this was largely a stream I was expecting. I was mostly expecting this to be just him and I chatting back and forth about the game. But he can watch the VOD and be sad that he missed it. Okay. Alright, so you see this guy actually need a 5 or a 6 to beat him. He only has 1 health, but he's very tricky to hit, as you'd expect in the games. I'm sleepy, man. Hopefully this stream will lull you to sleep out of sheer boredom. I mean, hey, if my stream's boring enough that people fall asleep, then, you know, maybe I just helped cure someone's insomnia. That's how I look at it. I haven't played any of the games. Yeah, I gotcha. The game is definitely approachable for people who haven't played it, but it is most enjoyable. And, like, you know, you enjoy a lot of the references and the returning bosses and characters and stuff if you have actually played the games. By the games, I mean pretty much if you've played Rebirth with any of the DLCs, is good enough. It's really just the one game that you want to play. Original Isaac is good, but Rebirth is just better version of it, and there's also DLCs that make it even better. So, yeah. We still got a lot of mostly textless. This Fat Bat is, you get a treasure for it, but he has 3 health, but he also has, you need a 5 or a 6. This guy's actually pretty tricky, especially for a textless monster. So we got the Codworm, which I didn't realize they were named that, but that is actually what they're called. Swarm of Flies. Okay, so now we're starting to get to ones that actually have effects. First one here, Swarm of Flies. Each time the attacking player rolls a 5, they take 1 damage, because there's 5 flies. Just interesting little effect there, specifically if you get a 5. But in general, he's very easy to hit. But he has 5 health as well, because there's 5 flies, so it's thematically fun. Yeah, Ring of Flies does a similar thing where if you roll a 3, they must steal a loot card. They must steal a loot card at random from another place. So that's actually a beneficial effect. So you actually want that to happen. Alright. So you see, anything that has 1 attack basically means you're not going to die if it attacks you. But this one here, the Hanger, has 2 attacks, so it's actually possible. If you get this early on, you could just die instantly from this card. But when it dies, the number of items in the shop expands by 1, which is pretty cool. Basically, the shop, I think, is a set of 2 or 3 treasure items that are laid out on the table that I think you can buy for 15 coins. And yeah, basically, there's a couple of things that can increase the amount of items available in the shop. I think one of the other things actually is a random happening in the monster deck, which we may have actually already seen. It might be under this pile. I'm not completely sure on that. Okay. Keeper head. When this deals damage to a player, they also lose 2 coins, so a little bit tricky. But this one, you actually roll, gain X cents. So basically, you roll and then you gain that many pennies. So kind of neat. Okay. What is this? Basement from Afterbirth? Okay. Or from Antibirth? Boomfly does damage to everything when it dies. Again, a lot of these cards are very thematically appropriate, considering that they're translating from a video game to a card game. A lot of these effects transfer quite nicely, I would say. And I think Edmund tends to agree with that. So I think here we have the Psyhorf, and then we should have... No? I thought there was going to be the Cursed Horf. Okay, maybe those cards are separate. Yeah, okay, the Holy and Cursed cards are separate. Never mind, okay. We'll see them in a little bit then. Yeah, some of the enemies have Cursed or Holy variants, which the Cursed ones are usually worse for you, and the Holy ones usually are better, where you get, like, extra rewards, or they do nice things for you, or something like that. And this is a good song. I forgot about this one. So this is a solid one. Okay. The Dank Globin. I really like those guys. Right. Evil Twin. What does this guy do again? Any damage dealt to this is also dealt to the player to your left. Yes, I think Doppel also did the same thing, where it attacked the player to your right, and it had slightly different stats. Yeah, bit of a tricky one. So basically, to kill this thing, you would pretty much have to kill the player to your left. Especially since he has 3 health, so... Yeah. Mullaboom, when this dies, deal 3 damage to any player. You actually choose where this damage goes. And also, he does 4 damage when he attacks. The 4 has an exclamation point to make sure that you know that that's a lot of damage. Which is kind of fun. Alright. Just working our way through a few more of these here. We're about to get to the holy one, the holy enemies, which are a bit interesting. Is that 2 cards? No, I don't think so. Okay. Really hoping I didn't accidentally double sleeve anything, but oh well. I mean, it's not like the card's gone. It's just missing. Stony, I think we saw this with the Cursed Head way earlier, but Stony's actually an enemy that you can't kill directly. It gives +1 to the required dice rolls to all active monsters, and when any active monster dies, this also dies. Cursed Head does something similar. I think it increases the attack of all active monsters. Because here we have the holy enemies. I think is this what, 5 of these? 5 holy enemies. How many cursed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 holy, 6 cursed. The holy dip, the normal dip, as you remember, just did nothing. The holy and cursed enemies, I think, have the same stats, but they just have different effects. This guy, instead of having no effect, he now has whenever any player rolls a 1, they gain 1 cent. So it's a nice little bonus. Also benefits everyone, potentially. Whenever any player rolls a 2, they may recharge an item. Pretty strong effect from the Holy Mom's Eye here. Whenever any player rolls a 6, they heal 1. That's a pretty... Healing is not something I feel is very common in this game. It's the Holy Dingo has hearts in his eyes. He's very cute. He's a cute boy. The Holy Keeper Head who's smiling. I love these. When a player rolls a 4, they gain 2 cents. Whoops. When any player rolls a 5, they loot 1. And that's it. I do wonder why they didn't do 6 holy cards. Let me double check here. Because they have 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6, but they don't have... They didn't double sleeve anything, I don't think. Yeah. Yeah, they didn't do a holy card for when you roll a 3. Kind of strange, but not really a big deal. Let's see, do they do that for this? Let's see, 1, 2, 5, 6... No, okay. They didn't do 3 for this one, actually. The one that would be... They do 1, 2, 3... Or 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and then the last one just does something unrelated to the dice roll. It's kind of funny. Yeah, also they have, I didn't even realize this, they have a Cursed Keeper head in addition to the Holy Keeper head. So he kind of gets both ends of the spectrum there. What does this one do, actually? Okay, rolls something with rolling a 4. Whenever any player rolls a 1, they lose 2 cents. So yeah, these all have basically global global negative effects for everyone on the field. Cursed Mom's Hand, Cursed Fatty, Cursed Horf is the one. When any player activates an item, they take 1 damage. So you kind of that can kind of mess things up quite significantly. That's a very interesting one. Cursed Gaper. Whenever any player rolls a 4, all active monsters gain +1 attack till the end of the turn. Jeez. Okay, so that I think is all the monsters. Now we have some of the random happenings. Okay, so let's see. So there's some gold chests. What's the art difference between these two? No, I actually don't think the art's any different on these. I can't tell, at least. The effects are different, so that's good at least. But as far as I could tell, the art's actually identical on these two. Kind of strange, but that's fine. The effects are different, so that's good enough. Basically, the chests, you either get 1 treasure, or you get money with this one, or you get loot with this one. They're just good. They're strictly beneficial to get a gold chest, which is why there's only 2 of them. Then you have the dark chests, which you can loot 1, gain 3 cents, or take 2 damage, which early on is just going to kill you instantly. This one you can gain 1 cent, loot 2, or take 2 damage. And then you have regular chests where you just gain money, or probably the other one's just going to be gain loot cards. So in general, the chests are good to find, not terribly common, and the dark chests also are not strictly beneficial either. Here we have a secret room, which just has a few different effects. Take 3 damage, discard 2 loot, gain 7 cents, or gain 1 treasure. Oh, I should have started. I'm gonna put these ones down here, I think. Yeah, that works. Works for me. So this entire stack is every single monster actually in the deck. So it's that. What is this one? XL floor, so you can actually have other happenings like this one. Expand the number of active monsters by 1, and you can attack additional cards. So basically, normally, like, if you get a chest, that's actually your entire attack for that turn. Your attack, even though you're really just opening a chest. But for some of the random happenings that just have, like, a global effect, you then can actually attack something again so that you can actually get something else. So this one, like I said earlier, expand the number of the number of items in the shop by 2, actually, is the shop upgrade. And then you can attack an additional time. We need to go deeper. Put any number of discarded monsters back on top of the monster deck. So this one is up to the player, but basically you can refresh the monster deck, and you know what order they get put into because you put them back in order of their appearance in the discard pile. Okay. At the top 6 cards of the loot deck, you may put them back in any order, then loot 1. So that's a pretty nice one. You're gonna know what the next 6 draws are gonna be with that. Yep, this one's fun. You can just draw a card that deals 2 damage to yourself, or you can draw this one to deal 2 damage to everyone. And basically, if someone draws this in the first few turns, it just kills everyone instantly, which is pretty fun. Okay, we have some other happenings. This one makes you attack the monster deck twice, which you're forced to, so you could potentially just die from it. Choose a player with the most coins, or that is tied. That player loses all their money. So that one's pretty nice. Oh, unless you're the one that has the most coins, and then it's not very nice. Here's the devil deal. So you can either discard this to do nothing, loot 2, take 1 damage, or search the treasure deck for a guppy item, gain it, and then take 2 damage. So if you have the health, you can actually force a guppy draw with that, which is pretty cool. Any guppy item as well. It's also a cursed chest, which is just like a dark chest, but generally worse, except that 1 in 6, you just can search for a guppy item. Then we have a bunch of curses. Some of them are from the game, some of them are not. Curse of Greed is a new one. Curse of Loss, I believe, is... yeah. Curse of the Lost, I think, was a curse in the games. But, and also, Curse of the Labyrinth was a thing, but now XL Floor is it's just a separate thing. Curse of the Blind here. And then you remember the DLC actually added a few curses as well. And now we're getting to the bosses. These are the really interesting ones. We can kind of take a quick peek through some of these. Some of them are pretty, like these early ones actually are just stats as well. But pretty quickly the bosses start to do interesting things. Art on these guys is all very nice. I haven't checked. There's a lot of bosses here. This is like a pretty good sized list of bosses from the games. I think, yeah, they have every single sin as well. Just the regular ones. I don't think they have the super sins. And they also don't have, I don't think Ultra Greed is in this game at the moment. You can see they have most of the classics here. Bomb. There's some bosses that are basically like super bosses that give 2 souls when they die. They are, of course, are very tricky bosses to beat. You've got Satan here. You got the Lamb. 6 attack. You're pretty much always going to die if he hits you. Delirium is an interesting one. We'll get to him a bit later on. Are you going to stream me playing this game? I would like to at some point. I mean, obviously, the main problem one is that I'd need people to play with. Doing this obviously I could play with Sacred, but doing 2 players, I think is not the ideal way to play. So I probably want to at least have one other friend over. And also the problem would be getting a setup where we could actually all play it. Because obviously doing it here would be challenging just because of the lack of space here. I really want to, but the problem is I'm just not a tabletop gaming streamer, so I don't have a setup for doing it. Right now, at least. Maybe later on down the line that might be something that becomes feasible, because I do really enjoy tabletop gaming a lot. But I just don't know a lot of people that are super interested in doing that. Everyone would just rather play video games, which is fine with me, because usually I do as well. But there's something to be said about, you can't really recreate the tabletop gaming experience very easily anywhere else. So I'd like to, but in reality it would be very challenging to get it to work, unless it ever gets up on Tabletop Simulator, and then we could definitely do that. That would be very fun, and I kind of hope that that's something that happens eventually. Because then also we could like play with Ryu and play with other viewers and stuff. So that would be a lot of fun, actually. I would very much so enjoy that. We'll see. Edmund seemed interested in doing that, but he's not 100% sure the legality stuff behind it. Whoops. So yeah, it's hard to say for sure if that'll ever happen or not. We'll see. We'll see. Definitely, if it gets put up on tabletop, I could say guaranteed I will play this game on stream. But yeah, it's kind of the ins and outs of that at the moment. So we are approaching our 400th, and we still have some cards left to go. So yeah, there's definitely more than 400. It's looking like 408 is going to be our number, at least right around there. So yeah, we are approaching the end of our stream here. Like I said, I knew it was going to be a short little stream. I wasn't actually expecting an hour and a half-ish to get it done. So that was a bit quicker than I was expecting it to go. But yeah, we'll go ahead and just start doing our usual stuff. Really appreciate all you guys for coming out here. Like I said, we had a very low turnout. Not too surprised. Weird hour, weird thing. Probably boring to most people, especially people who don't know the game at all. But either way, anyone who's here, I appreciate you guys. Hopefully I'll be able to stream a little bit tomorrow. I'll keep you guys filled in on the Discord, so if you aren't a member of the Discord, I recommend you do so. Especially if you found this interesting, I guarantee you're going to find my usual content interesting. Yeah, and we're going to be streaming some more Smash Ultimate and some more Epic Battle Fantasy V. We got giveaways to do for Epic Battle Fantasy V. So if you're interested in winning things, also feel free. Okay, so we're going to count. So this is 401. This is, here, I'm just going to pull a few out here so they're easier to reach. We got 402. Let me just count. 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, 408. Precisely. Okay. So that number checks out. Alright, but, yeah, next Wednesday, I think, is when I'm planning on going back to revisiting Epic Battle Fantasy V for streaming. I have to figure out a nice way to stream World of Light and Epic Battle Fantasy V side by side, because I still have quite a bit to do in World of Light still. But Epic Battle Fantasy V is just something that people really want to see. And again, I do also have giveaways for it, and I absolutely love that game, and I haven't been able to play on my stream save for a while. And Delirium, here we go, last card. Actually, I kind of want to go over the other super bosses too, just because they're interesting, so we'll take a little bit of time for this. Mom deals double damage on a roll, so if you roll a 1, she's going to do 4 damage and you're pretty much dead instantly. When this dies, expand the number of active monsters by 1, so that's pretty significant. You get 1 treasure and 2 souls for beating her. The Lamb. When this dies, you may force a player to give you a soul card. So it only gives you 1 soul, but it still definitely is a super boss because it's very hard to beat, and you will always get at least 2 souls from this boss. Did I hear about Battle Fantasy 5? Gonna 100% World Light? That's the plan, yeah. I'm definitely gonna go for that. Some of the challenges are gonna be very tough. But if I'm able to continue training up my spirits, I think I should be able to manage it. So yeah, the Lamb, you only need a 3 to hit him, but he has 6 health, and if he hits you, you're just dead. And then we have Satan. Each time the attacking player rolls a 6, they must kill a player. This is ridiculous. So you need at least a 4, 5, or 6 to hit this thing, and he has 6 health. He actually only does 2 damage, but he just forces you to kill players. And then Delirium, the most interesting of everyone, I would say. So you see, his stats are quite big. 5 health, you need a 4 or higher, does 3 damage. When it dies, place it back inside the monster deck 6 cards from the top. Other monsters gain +1 to their dice number while this is active. You get 2 treasures. You don't get a soul for killing this because this thing never dies. Every time it dies, it goes 6 spots into the monster deck. And so once you cycle through 6 monsters again, Delirium comes right back. So you can continually get treasure off him, but he's also not very easy to kill. And also he buffs everything alive. So Delirium's basically a major pain in the ass. Okay. So yep, 408 cards. All of them sleeved now. Whew. I'm just gonna go ahead and put the rest of these sleeves away. Save these for when the expansion comes out, and probably I'm not even gonna need that last pack of sleeves. But you know, better safe than sorry. Oh, here's another good song. Man, we're getting a lot of good ones. Okay, so use those. I'm just gonna throw these in my drawers for now, I think. Just put them in here. Okay, so there's that. Whew, let's go ahead and get everything put away here. We can try and figure out a nice way to have everything arranged in the box. Get it open here. There we go. Okay. Just realized that now that they're sleeved, it's possible that those smaller packs of cards also will not actually fit in their original packages. So they might not actually fit in these anymore. So this one is where the 3 soul cards were located. Okay. If I'm not able to put these back into their original spots, I'm gonna need to find some clever way to divide everything up, which could be a little bit tricky. Okay, so these guys at least will fit in here because they were quite small. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So then we have our soul cards. Do that. So let's see if we're able to fit these back inside their packages. These ones are going to be a little bit less. I'm a little bit less sure that they're actually all going to fit back in here. Let's just do part of them at a time. Yeah, I'm not too sure. That's only like half of them. Which half actually was that? Okay, so this goes on top. Doesn't really matter. But... So this might work temporarily, but I'm definitely going to need to find a better solution. Even if this does work, I'm going to need to find a better solution for keeping them separate. Okay. Okay. Bit of a tight fit, but I think that's fine. they're in sleeves, and they're nice and snug in there for sure. Okay, so there's that. Do you know if you'll do all optional content before finish? Before finishing, I'm not sure. I don't know how the final boss or the end game works in this game, so I'm not. I plan on doing it before I fight the final boss, I would say, if that's what you're asking. I plan on doing absolutely everything before the final boss. Unless there's like a big, like Battle Mountain-esque area, then I might do the final boss before that, and then fight the final boss again after. It's the same as how I did in the main series. That's possible. These are in a weird order, I think. What's the topmost one here? Oh yeah, these are in a real weird order. Alright, that's fine. I can worry about that later. So yeah, that's my plan for that, at least. I do definitely plan on taking care of all of the optional content before I go for the final boss, though. Okay. So is that. I don't know if we're gonna need this this big rectangle in here anymore. Or more specifically, I don't know if we'll be able to fit the rectangle in here with all the cards. But I guess we'll see. Okay, so let's do monster cards first here. Before final boss. If you want, I can help you plan that. Alright. Yeah, we'll see how things are going at that point. I'm not expecting to reach that point, honestly, within or like anytime soon. even on the Twitch series, I think it's going to take me a while before I get to that point in the game. I would certainly expect, at least. Okay, just making sure these don't all fall over. Make sure we don't have a large mess on our hands. Okay. This is the monster cards. Separate those with this. I actually think it's very unlikely that we're going to be able to have that in here. Ooh. No. Here we go. Let's do this one first. Guess. Yeah, it really doesn't matter. Actually, let's just do this. Oh, it's falling. Nope, we got it. Don't worry, boys. Save the day. Okay. Throw these in here. Okay. Oh. Trying to be very careful with these, just to avoid a large mess. Actually, once again, I think I did this in the opposite order that I wanted to. Yeah, I want to go like this. Gotta keep the cards at bay on both sides. There we go. You see, sleeving the cards actually added quite a bit to the overall size here, which is there we go, just fine. At the very least, probably for the expansion, this box will have to come out, and then you'll have to store this stuff a bit separately. But that's probably fine, honestly. This, I think, is no longer able to be used. Okay, I think that should be good here. So got a nice extra bit of room for when the expansion comes out. It'll be this much plus this, so it'll be about that much extra room. This much, so you still have like, what was that, like almost half the box. So yeah, definitely plenty of room for expansions. The instructions back in there. Actually, if we want to even keep this. Actually, I actually was keeping the bag outside of this, wasn't I? Never mind. And one last thing, it probably would be better, so that we don't have the cards flopping around any. Probably better to actually have this box push them up against the other side, I think. Okay. Well, that didn't really work. Well, yeah, that didn't work at all. Alright, that's fine. We'll just go back to how it was before. Because I think having this, like, firmer pack at the end is probably the better option. Even angle it inwards a bit so that it doesn't tip over so easily. Okay. I think that's good. Nope. Instructions. Always forget the instructions. Yep, that's just gonna happen. Okay. There we go. That is gonna do it, I think, for this stream. So thank you again, everyone, for hanging out. Appreciate you guys, and I hopefully we'll see you guys. Here, I can pan this back up here. Yeah, hopefully I will see you guys again tomorrow. If not, I will see you guys again for a couple hours on Monday. We'll probably do a little bit of World Light, just a bit of a chill, because that's gonna be after I have an exam in the morning and then review like late at night, so it's gonna be a long day for me. But success, thank you. I try my best. But yeah, thank you guys again for hanging out. Here we can actually switch over. It's a very slightly different setup. Yeah, and then we got Final Fantasy V coming again on Epic Battle Fantasy V coming again next week. So yeah, thank you guys again, and I will see you guys later. Hope you guys have a good night. Oops. Well, good afternoon, I guess. Alright, anyway, bye. Oops.